that someone should send a letter to that would probably lay out the 25 or 30,000 to coordinate the right people to come together collectively into a room like this. Now I'm talking about heads of agencies. If you got the force, which you say you have, we need the NAACP, we need the political studies of the Congressional Black Caucus, we need the anchor of the Nonviolent Center down in Atlanta. We need the Harvard Journal Review to come. We need somebody with a booth down at the Black State of the Union with Tavis Smiley and having Al Sharpton speak on this issue so it becomes part of the public debate on BET and C-SPAN. So when we talk about how to bring all these collective efforts together with the petitions, we're not reaching the right people. We need some outside intellectual scholarship agitators.
There you go.
That would draw in the kind of agencies academically to this. All the law students out of every major school, all the political science students out of every major school. I mean, we're not using activism the way you talked about King. So if we did the King stuff, we would do something like make sure that we go downtown and cause an economic climate to feel defeated. We would ask our folks to go pay their water bill for one day on a Saturday, if you want to get somebody's attention, and everybody go down and pay their water bill with pennies and nickels. And then the mayor would hear us. Because then we're economically touching his base. But we're not touching anybody right now. We have touched them, but we touched them in a way that they looked at us economically destroying property. So the press got some money, and they made some money on that. But we need to now figure out how to integrate scholarship with activism, activism with intellectualism, intellectualism with economic declaration. And when we do that, then we could bring a mass group together. But clearly, we have people who are staying away because they do not want to associate with whether it's going to be peaceful or violent, including the clergy. So if we bring together the right kind of leaders, then those people that have been staying away will come to the table. Particularly, I believe that the Catholic Church would step forward if the right people ask, without a doubt. I believe the Bishop of the Lutheran Church for the Synod already signed a letter that I sent out on behalf of the Lutherans and the Synod, which is 622 churches. That was the Caucasian clergy person who stepped forward right away and came to the parish and spoke to the other Lutheran pastors, for they all saw that. So I think we're not drawing the people together properly yet. And only because I have been an organizer. I went to the Lindsay School of Organizing, so I'm no misfit at this. But I'm saying we're not drawing the right atmosphere to make people understand that we could break down a wall. And want to break down the wall. Want to break down that police barrier of insignificance, violence that's already in their minds. I did file a suit against the Oakland Police Department for the way I was treated. And they found that there was no justice in my complaint. That what I said happened to me, that that officer did not do anything wrong or out of the ordinary. But he scared the living mess out of me the way he treated me. And he threatened me. And I filed against that. But he did nothing wrong, they said. So my campaign to be a human being in their sight, and then I was told by the police chief himself, when they gave me that little letter, he said, the biggest problem we have with the Oakland Police Department is retaliation against citizens who bring complaints. So this is my card. If you ever feel like you're in danger, you call me. So I'm here to say, you got that card? No, I got that card. He's gone. But I'm here to say that the collaboration, I believe, can take place. I believe what Pastor said over here, there were clergy that met that day, but the press chose what it wanted to do. I believe we got to buy some press time by doing something effective. We got to buy it by making us be seen in a different light. There still has not yet barked to go in any school or to any platform and put up a booth or a tent. What's that word that we use? The post what? Post-traumatic, what's it called?
Post-traumatic stress.
Post-traumatic stress, to be counseled with our people that's getting on those trains. That would bring great significant PR if we made them do that. Oh, yeah. If we bought a class action suit against the police department and against BART on behalf of the young people for what they're suffering. and how it's affecting their lives. And we start signing kids up to be a part of this class action suit. You're the lawyer, I can't tell us how to do it. But that's the way we will get a collective effort of people saying, oh, they moved this to the next level. Right now, the press is looking for the odd voice, the violent voice, the emotional voice. So they're bending on that. But if we found us one of these universities with a law center in it, and we asked them to become pro bono to do this class action suit, it might go on for the next 10 years, but it would draw together what we need done in the next 3 months.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely support that. And I want to say what I think our political problem is, though, because I think it's everything that you're saying about reaching out is right. But here's what I think our political problem is. There is a pervasive view now coming out of the Democratic Party that you should not talk about racism. That it should, that if there's going to be unity and progress, then what we have to do is do it. Right, and do it on that old white populist basis. We don't say anything about racism, and that way, all of us can move forward. Okay, never, ever, ever, ever has that achieved anything in history. It never achieved anything for the white people. It never. I mean, it was the it was the theory of Jim that came after Jim Crow segregation. It has never worked, but we're up against that now, and I think some of the lack of people coming forward. It's not that they don't know about this, and it's not that they even really need us to contact them, because they do know. It's that kind of desire to bury questions of racism, and I think I always think back when Dr. King went to Birmingham. There were 144 black churches in Birmingham. 8 supported him.
That's right.
8. The rest of them were like, you need to go home. What are you doing here? And we can do this. And I think it's almost like we're at that moment again, where it's gonna be what you're saying. It's gonna be organizing the young people. It's gonna be finding. I like the idea of trying to get the public hearing with Conyers. I think we should do all of those things. But you just ask yourself, why hasn't Sharpton come here? Where is Jesse Jackson?
I can tell you why both of them haven't been here yet.
Why?
Because they haven't been invited.
There you go.
Excuse me, Al Sharpton did speak on the I was watching him. He spoke on Oakland on what happened, sir.
Yeah, but
he spoke.
He has not been invited here to speak in a proper pulpit. Until he is, then he has to have a platform. Understand what I'm saying? It's one thing to have some public opportunities of press, but until they have a platform to be invited to, such as this platform with all the collaboration of other people inviting him here, then he's not going to come to that platform. His platform and Jesse's platform and others' platforms are platforms that include numbers that are guaranteed. So if we were to invite him, that's what I meant about outside. What we needed is outside facilitators, outside agitators. What Dr. King had with him with those 8 churches is he brought in agitators from the outside. He didn't say these are my agitators, but he had 35 buses that came in from 6 other states on that day. What Oakland needs is outside people to come here to demonstrate the strength and the credence of these preachers getting on board, these politicians getting on board. Poor Councilwoman Desley Brooks is all out there by herself, hanging. We need somebody to get on board. And if she was to send out the invitation, if we was to walk out this room right now and call out home and say, okay, I was ready to have you come out here on March 23rd. The numbers will be here. Can you push this on the 28th down in LA at the Black State of the Union event that weekend? See, if that's the kind of connections it takes, or Dr. Tosco, us walking out here and saying, okay, let's call Jesse. Until Jesse get his people here, until Jesse bring it down from Washington and also from Oregon and bring them up. That's how we have to do it. Because right now, the young people in this Bay Area is the foundation of this. What we need is the strength of leaders. Community, political, and religious. And they're only going to come when we bring in another credence to show the triad.